Welcome back to the Beauford project. We're here with Dad, and he's done a lot of sorting out the wiring harness and stuff.
And I'm just trying to remember what I've done because we've had a few weeks of being busy and not been able to do it. So we try to refresh my memory. So obviously we've got one major change is moving battery from here to here. So that's quite a major change, but also putting an isolator in. So that just makes life a lot easier. And then what we've got in where the battery was is a fuel swirl pot. Because we're now gone to injection, we need to have a good supply into the fuel pump. So what you do is you have a pump in the rear, pumping from the tank to the swirl pot and then returning. And then the pump has a good feed onto it to prime and pressurize the fuel rail, which then the ECU will open injectors as and when they need, but it needs a good constant pressure. So that's that sorted. We've also then put some new blocks in. So I've got a good junction point here for my live and neutral sections. And obviously when they're all connected up, they can be covered over. So that's nice and neat, he says, hopefully.
What are the relays for at the top here?
Right, then what we've got at the top here is we've got a main on-off relay. So when we turn the ignition, which is this wire here, which came from where the coil was, that then powers up the ECU and also the auxiliary items. So such as we've got the main ECU, that relay I think will go for the fan on the cooling, because we've removed the viscous fan from the engine. Then the other two are the two fuel pumps. So one fuel pump is the one in the rear pumping to the swirl pot, and the other pump is the main one which pressurizes the fuel system. Okay, these are in here temporary just to set up and sort out, but they'll then be shortened and crimped up, because the trouble is as you go through things, you adjust things, you make things different, therefore you can adjust without having to keep making crimps. So hence the chocolate blocks to do that. Beside that, obviously we've got the coil pack, which we've put in and wired in, and that goes in pairs. So each time one fires, so does the other side. So it's what they call a wasted spark. Over your side, Lewis, we've also now started and made a new injection loom up, because, would you believe, the injection loom was in 2 sets of 3.
How do you mean 2 sets of 3?
Literally, one, I think it was 1, 3, was it 1, 3 and 5, and 2, 4 and 6. So the injectors weren't wired individually, they were wired in banks of 3. So, which I'm still a little bit confused by, and how well it ran or would run with that and be efficient. But there we are. So still a little bit confused by that. So that's now wired in. We've got the wiring harness here. We've still got this bank of wires to go through, which are mainly quite simple. That one, for example, is the trigger wheel, which isn't too bad to do. Then we've got various air sensors, temperature sensors and things like that to do. So not too much. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Once we get the swirl pot in and mounted, what I'm going to do for safety's sake is put some metal up the side here and weld that in. So God forbid a pipe split or leaked, it's not going to squirt onto the engine, just as a precaution. But as you can see, making notes as we go on the notepad, just to ensure that if ever we do have any problems, we can sort it out. So quite a bit gone on, but not had a lot of time to do it neither. So we're all on a bit of a how far did I get and catching up at the moment. So we're getting there, but we have plugged in the laptop to the ECU and downloaded the map from the ECU, so we've got a base to go now. So we just need a couple of 3 days of getting in here and fiddling and furkling, and I reckon we'd soon be running. So throttle cable to fit, clutch cables in, clutches in, a few wires to do, such as starter motor, things like that, but nothing major really. So we're getting there, we're getting quite close really. So, but yeah, work gets in the way. Never mind.